love you, dude.
I love you.
David,
What, baby?
I got that early.
You got what? So I had an epiphany when driving home from Scanos. By the way, they got some bomb ass food. Mm, mm, mm. That yum yum sauce. Boy, that shit fire. That shit almost tastes better than good pussy. Man. But anyhow, like I was saying, I had an epiphany on the way to the crib a second ago. And this particular epiphany that I had was on parenting. I had a moment of clarity for myself as to what I believe parenting is, what I solely believe what parenting is. To me, parenting is everything selfless. It's everything selfless. Nothing about parenting is about self. Like, it's not about self once you become a parent. The only part about self that comes with parenting is you doing everything to become a better self, to become a better you, to better yourself for that child. It's everything selfless. Once you have a child, it is about that child. Every decision you make, every move you make, everything you do and say, it affects that child. There's too many people out here that got kids that don't understand that concept. To me, people still think that they can have kids and still have a self. Now, once you have that kid, you cross it's a different dynamic to life. Life has a different dynamic once you have a kid. Having a child, you know what I'm saying, or seeing your child be born as a man, or bearing a child as a woman, like, that changes the whole dynamic of life. The moment you cross that threshold to becoming a parent, it's not about you anymore, like, at all. Once that happens, you have a whole human being that you have to share the world with and teach the world to for the rest of your life. Once you have a kid, it's about grooming that child to where they'll be able to succeed and survive. That's what it's about. That's what the game is about. And again, there's too many people out here who don't understand that concept once they cross that threshold. Once you cross that threshold, you have to change your whole entire way of thinking, your whole entire way of doing everything in your life. You have to change that. It's sad to say that it's a lot of parents out there who cross that threshold but don't change that perspective. They don't change their perspective. Life is different now. Everything that you do after you have a child, it affects that child, like, in every aspect. I don't even have to go into detail. That's food for thought for your own self. Just let that marinate for a second. For a long time, I did not understand how two people could come together and love each other enough to create a child and then hate each other so much after that. I never understood that shit. Didn't even think it could be fucking possible until I had a son. And I got to taste that for myself. I struggled to be a father for the first year of my son's life. I had to fight tooth and nail just to be there. It took me to that point of hatred, like to the depths of hate. It took me to that point. But deep down inside, I still love my son's mom, like, beyond this earth, for the simple fact that she gave birth to my firstborn child. Nothing she could do. There was nothing that she could do that would make me hate her to the point of it being unhealthy for my son. I can't allow it. I can't allow anything to make shit that bad to where it'll be poisonous for my son. That's selfless. That's me being completely selfless for the sake of my child. Because it ain't about how I feel right now or how much I hate his mom. He has nothing to do with that. So I'm not finna let him even feel that type of energy because he didn't ask for that. He didn't ask for that. And he didn't ask to be here. You know what I'm saying? For those of y'all who don't know, my son was a playing child. He wasn't no accident. He was playing. Just so y'all know. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to let anything like that poison my son. I would fail as a parent if I did. That would be me failing as a parent. If I let toxic shit like that or bad feelings or bad blood get in between me and his mom enough to where it affected him. Nah, I can't have it. But that's me being selfless. By being that transparent enough so he could have a good perspective. For the simple fact that me and his mom, we're not together. But it's up to us to show him the best example that we can get along for the sake of him. And not only get along, but actually love each other to a certain extent. Just to a certain extent, just so he can see that. I don't want my son growing up and just being one of those kids who felt like he just grew up in separate homes because his parents hated each other so much. No, I want him to grow up and understand that sometimes you grow out of relationships. Sometimes, things don't work out and things like that happen for a reason. But even when things like that happen in life for whatever reason that they happen, it's still possible for two human beings to exchange love between one another. Ultimately, to set the best example for that child. That's selflessness. That's selflessness. Total selflessness. To me, that's how it's supposed to be. It ain't about me, it ain't about you, it ain't about us. It's about that child right there, the child that we created. Being a parent is so selfless to the point to where I feel like it's about each parent making the other parent feel secure. Feeling secure as the other parent and feeling secure that if something was to happen to you or that parent, the other parent know that the other parent got it. Like, as a father, it is my job to make sure that my son's mother feels secure being the mother and secure in me being his father. If two parents who aren't together can get along enough to where they can make each other feel secure and know for a fact that they have nothing to worry about, you can't go wrong. That's selflessness. Even if y'all do got bad blood and y'all had a fucked up experience together or whatever it might be, it's up to both of y'all to show maximum levels of selflessness for the sake of that kid. That's parenting. That's whether y'all together as parents or if y'all not together. It's the same thing. Making each other feel secure for the sake of that kid. If you are parents that are together, it's those situations where y'all get into heated arguments or y'all just make sure that there's certain things that y'all kid just don't see. Even if your husband or your wife done pissed you off to the point to where you want to click out and cuss her the fuck out. But it's up to you to make that decision not to do that in front or around that kid for the sake of that kid. Now, me personally, I feel like it's kind of good and it's kind of bad. So in a sense, it just depends. I think it's okay for a kid to see to a certain extent that mommy and daddy gets mad at each other at times. I think that's healthy because as long as the love is real and y'all go through y'all hard times, but y'all still love one another all the way to the end of the earth, all the way through it all, that's going to teach that child that when you're dealing with people, you're gonna go through those rough times. But as long as the love is real, you ain't got to worry about nothing. It teaches that child longevity. It teaches them that not everything is peachy keen when it comes to love, or marriage. It teaches them a great deal seeing both sides. Now, getting physical, that's totally different. That's not good at all. That's complete opposite. That can traumatize a child to above and beyond. That's not healthy. Like I said, either way it go, whether y'all together as parents or whether y'all separated, it's about total selflessness and security between you two as parents for the sake of that child. That's all it's about. That's all it's about, y'all. It's all it's about. That is today's Dread Talk. You feel me? That's today's Dread Talk. And just so y'all know, man, I came up with this idea when I have these little spurts of motivational speaking or whatever you want to call it, me sharing my ideas and thoughts, whatever you want to call that. I'ma call it dread talk. I'm gonna call it dread talk. You know what I mean? That's the food for thought I think about. I call it dread talk because these are my perceptions, the thoughts that's in my mind. You feel me? Food for thought, right? Everybody who knows anything about dreads, man, if you know about the sentimental value between dreads and where they came from and how they started, it's a very deep meaning. Me being in tune with my spirit as a spiritual being, as a king, from Africa, whatever you want to call it, like me seeing myself for who I am, I feel like my perspective on life is food for thought for myself and for you, which initially makes these grow. Dread talk. That's dope, right? That's dope, right? I'm on to something, you feel me? I'm on to something. That's dread talk. But look, that's today's dread talk, you feel me? That's today's dread talk. Today's dread talk was about parenting and what parenting is all about. Today's dread talk, legacy, out. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot. Speaking on changing your whole perspective once you cross that threshold into becoming a parent. I feel like a lot of you moms need to celebrate Other's Day for all the other people that be having your kids.